Rolling all around. We're now rolling all around.
Vibing and thriving. Vibing and thriving. I'm excited now.
This episode of We Are New is brought to you by Refrigerator College. It's the only college where you can study refrigerators exclusively, head to toe, the ones with two doors that are in the middle, and then the top one that's separate from the freezer. You learn about all of that shit. Go to refrigeratorcollege.com. Figure it out.
How did you know?
It just occurred to me. I just thought about it.
Clap and then...
Yeah, and I was just sitting here talking, and there's a part of my brain that went off and was like, we didn't do it. You know, I catch everything I ever fuck up that way. Everything I've ever fucked up, here's some honesty. You want a little truth bomb? I'm almost certain that at least 98% of the time, anytime I've ever let someone else tell me I fucked up, that's what happened. I let them tell. I already knew. And I've played dumb a lot. That's the truth bomb. A lot of times people have come to be like, hey man, what happened with this? I know I fucked it up and I hadn't said anything yet. And I go, I don't know what happened. And they're like, it's fucked up. And I'm like, oh, I might have, yeah, you know. And I do that and I hate that about myself, but it's the closest I can come in some situations to just being honest, because I do then fully admit I fucked up, own the mistake, and go from there. I'm like,
it's like a little white lie.
Fuck, yeah, you know what? I might have done that and I'm sorry. But the white lie is I could have told them 2 days earlier, like, there's a fuck up on the way. I already know I did it. I always know I do it. At one point or another, it occurs to me.
For me, I'll just straight up be like, yeah, I didn't do it.
Yeah, me too. There's a little playing dumb, but I'm saying there's no hesitation in admitting that it happened.
Yeah, but you wait.
You're saying you'll tell them right away?
Yeah.
Like, for example, you turn in an assignment. You've already hit send, but you know you made a mistake on it. Do you hit the professor up and you be like, hey, by the way,
yeah,
I fucked that up.
Yeah. Got
you. I try to do that, and I feel like I do that a lot of the time. I don't know how often, but I do try to do that, and I do it more than when I was a kid. When I was a kid, it was like no mistake could be admitted. And even later, I'd be like, I don't know. I don't think that was me. Like, I wouldn't even own it up to it if I could avoid it. If there's any way I could avoid it. That's what I mean when I say I was dishonest when I was young.
Got it.
Like, as a young person, you caught me in a lie, I would like deny it until you had physical proof. I would start acting like a lawyer. I would be like, so can you show me on paper where you think I fucked up?
Yeah.
Like, I would just, and now I'm very much like, as much as possible, I'm like, I don't push back at all. Someone's like, you fucked this up. I'm like, probably, what happened? That's how I'm usually. But still, every now and then, if it's big and I'm scared about admitting the mistake, not if it's time sensitive. If it's something like, if I don't say something, this is going to cause a problem. I don't do that shit. But if it's like, at some point, they're going to realize the mistake and we're going to have to do the same thing no matter what. Whether I tell them now or I tell them later, it's the same fix. Those are the ones that I give myself the room.
So it's situational.
Oh, for sure. It's totally based on the circumstances. If there is room for me to fuck up, it'll happen. That's an important thing I've learned about me. I need the conservatory.
Yeah.
Don't let me go to a liberal arts school where we're like dicking around half the time and you get to pick your classes. And they're like, no. You need to tell me where to be, and you need to tell me that if I'm not there on time, I'm fired. Like, I need the stakes. Because there's something about my psyche that starts to go like, nah, whatever. Unless I'm excited about it. Like, if it's my podcast, my thing, I'm going to be there early. But yeah, if it's somebody else's thing and they're like, hey man, you know, we usually get here around 9. I'll be there at 9:10. For sure. Why wouldn't I? You said around 9. You clearly don't give a fuck. But if you tell me, hey man, we're all here at 9. Most of us get here like 8:50. You really need to be here before 9. I'll be there fucking 8:45 every day. You scare the shit out of me. I just need that. I need that push.
Yeah. Babe.
Hello.
Hello.
We have our shirts.
Yes.
How about this?
So cute.
It's easier to see yours probably, but yeah.
We are new with Rob and Candy.
Right? The show. This is the show that they're watching right now.
This is the show.
Welcome to the show. We're piloting some shirts with a friend of yours to see if we maybe want to make some merch.
Yes.
See if the 36 people who watch this show want to buy a shirt. We're seeing how it goes. I like them. I think they look pretty cool. I like that the letters are kind of matte gloss mix. Mm-hmm. It's kind of good. I feel good about it. I don't have a lot of purple clothes.
Either.
And I like purple. It's a good color. And now we kind of have a similar vibe to the door.
Yeah. And we also got haircuts.
We got haircuts. Mine is too short, but easy fix for that. Time. Yeah, we'll just give some time.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else? I read Tom Segura's book this week.
You did, and you're done.
I did. I read it in a week. I don't read that fast normally. It takes me a couple of years to read a book, for real. I take unless it's a very specific read, I'm reading for a specific reason. I got this Nick Offerman book. I like it. It's good. It's about hanging out outside. Mm-hmm. Super fun, but it's not like gripping.
Difficult read.
It's not a difficult read. It's not a gripping story. It is a book for you to take when you go camping, when you're not in a hurry, and read leisurely. And as a result, it's not a bathroom book. It's kind of like a travel book. I use it when I go on trains and planes and automobiles. But it's probably going to take me like 2 years to read that book.
Wow.
And I'll love it, but it'll take me a long time. Tom's book, I'd Like to Play Alone, Please, was awesome. It was really gripping, and it wasn't a suspenseful book, but it was like every story was interesting enough, and it's a collection of essays, so it's just short stories, basically. Some of them are 2 pages long.
That's my type of book, man.
It's our type of attention span as millennials and younger, right? And increasingly older too, but we're just saturated with that. Give it to us in 2 pages.
I have textbooks in class and I'm like, boring. And I feel like my lectures are literally just what I'm supposed to read. So I'm like, what's the point? It's just more of the same stuff.
Right.
That's how I truly feel about all the readings I have to do.
Well, and people are, especially textbooks, you feel like every paragraph was written by a different person because you're like, they already said this. Mm-hmm. Like, why do they keep saying this? Textbooks do that. They'll be like, explain a phrase, and then later they'll explain the phrase within the context again. Mm-hmm. And it's like almost like they're selling based on pages. And you're like, you're just trying to get away from more fucking pages over here. This is like clickbait in textbook form. I'm like, one thing, and then it's all filled with bullshit.
Yeah, and it just feels like busy work.
Yes.
Like,
that's why school sucks.
Leave me alone.
Yeah. You know what I would love? Yes, exactly. I would like to play alone, please. Do you know why that's the title?
No, I don't.
It is his son Ellis's first full sentence he ever said to his dad.
Aww.
Yeah, but kind of dark and weird.
Yeah,
it's
but
both.
It makes sense because they're weird.
Yeah, they're a couple
the
weirdos.
Parents,
yeah, they are for sure. That's one of the stories in the book, of course, is explaining that. You know what I would love to do, I think would be very interesting, is for you to do your best to reiterate the one chapter of the book that you've read so far, because you found it in the bathroom where I left it.
Yeah.
And you picked it up and read one chapter. So you've read one chapter of the book, one essay.
Yeah, I went to the table of contents. You've already shared a couple at that point.
Yeah, kind of throwing them out verbally, like, this is funny.
Yeah, and then there are definitely some stories that I already kind of knew from his work.
Yeah.
And so I just picked a random whatever caught my eye.
And what was the title of the chapter?
Again, I forgot.
I'll tell you, because I remember. The title, and that's the only thing I'm going to fill in here because I really want to just get your take on what you remember.
Okay.
You read the chapter, No Fat Chicks.
Right.
Yeah. What was that about, hun?
Okay. So it was about one of Tom's buddies who's a comic and don't remember his name, but
his name's Phil. I'll give you that.
okay, Phil is a large guy. Like he's considered obese.
Yeah, he's fat.
And it talks about how he doesn't like fat chicks.
Yeah.
And
it's a no-no for him.
It's a no-no for him. And he gets good-looking ladies. And Tom just doesn't get it. Because he says he's fat and he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Are his words.
Yeah. It's like
And
Phil
so-
sucks. And he's fat.
Yeah.
So who are you to be fat and then be like, I don't even consider if they're not hot, I don't even think about it.
Right. So then he talks about how he gets these hot chicks, he doesn't understand why, and he interviews women
Right.
in his life. So like his wife and his female friends.
The editor of the book is one of them.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. And he asks them like if they've ever broken up or like was dating someone and broke up with them for some superficial reason. And all the women have had a story where that they've done that.
Right.
So, you know, the premise of the chapter is we all do it.
Yeah.
Like,
and to fill in a little bit, Tom then after Phil so assholishly insists that he's above all of these people, Tom divulges as well. It's like while he judges him, he admits that he has broken up with people for superficial reasons. Like he didn't like the way their head was shaped or something, you know, something weird. One of my favorites, and I've never even thought about this in my whole life. This is like one of the things for real in the book that blew my mind the most. He broke up with a girl because her feet were too narrow. She had skinny feet.
Yes.
Like thin feet. Who gives a fuck about that?
right.
That is the way, and he is an outrageous dude on a lot of his opinions and the kind of the way he talks. I never am like, what the fuck is he talking about? Ever. I feel like I just get his sense of humor, which makes me enjoy him. The narrow feet thing, I was like, what the fuck is that? And then you're right, he gets to the end of the chapter and he's like, hey, I was going to end the chapter being like, Phil, and as it turns out, most men are pieces of shit because we'll just break up with you because we don't like the way you look.
Yeah.
And then he takes it to the women in his life and they all affirm that they do the exact same thing. And that apparently amongst most people that they're all doing this. Chandler on Friends is a character that's like notorious for this. He breaks up with women for shallow reasons. That's what I brought up
to you. I was like, it totally reminded me of that episode. But we started talking about it and we've discussed that I don't think we've ever done that.
No.
I've never broken up with a guy because I can't even think of anything.
I thought, you know how I didn't either. And then the way I tried to test myself was thinking of the reasons I have broken up with people. And I was like, no, none of them were shallow reasons. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but it wasn't like, I didn't like where her freckles were or something. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, it was either like you lost attraction to them or they kissed weird, like physical intimacy stuff that, you know, if it doesn't go well.
Okay, but hold on there because you said lost attraction to them. That could be like based on a physical thing that you didn't like. Like all of a sudden their knuckle hair was not so sexy and you were like.
No, I meant more so like the more you got to know each other.
Like their personality turned you off more.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, I've only ever broken up with people because of like not a little thing that was one thing. It had to be several things. Like I find people's weird little quirks like that mostly endearing even on people I don't like. Mm. Like if someone has like a kind of crooked nose or they're like a gap in their teeth or something, that stuff doesn't turn me off. Like I find everybody's, you know, I mean, there's ugly and there's good looking for sure. Let's not be I don't want to mince words about that.
Sure.
For sure. But sometimes things that other people might be like, yeah, it's kind of a weird thing. I'm like, that's kind of a cool thing about them. I like that. But I've never been like, man, I like this girl and it's going okay, but I can't stand her fucking hands. They're weird. They're just weird. Her fingers are too long for the palms. You know? Like, I can't think of a single one that I've ever done. It's all been like more legitimate reasons. So another thing that makes us kind of weird, babe. Kind of weirdos.
Yeah, I would love to hear stories if you're brave enough to just like talk about why you broke up with someone.
Anyone who watches the show, please drop a comment on whatever and tell us your breakup reason that was like fucking weird. Because we don't have any.
Yeah.
Should we start the show, babe?
Let's start the show.
Start the fucking show.
I'm excited now.
Fuck that. Suck that. Fuck that. Suck that. Fucking nuts. That's what I'm talking about.
Babe.
Yeah.
I just want to share that I'm feeling really good this week.
Is that true?
Yeah.
You saying that for the show?
No, my energy is back up. We've been doing this awesome competition.
The first one that's like going well. It's our fourth one.
It's
Did
our
you know
fourth
that?
one. I've always started the competition. And then the day before I would say, let's do the competition would be like, I'm crushing it, like closing my rings. And then
we're talking about the
downhill.
Apple Watch thing. Like they may not know.
Right. It's a competition on our Apple Watch.
We're such elitist in the walled garden of Apple. We just assume everyone lives our life. We do the thing where here, is there the big one? I don't think I have the big face on. But basically, right, anyone who's not familiar with it, you close these colored rings that it's not going to show up. I'll put a graphic or something. You close
then you won't.
You close look it up. You're an adult. You can look it up. All right. Kids don't watch this show. Adults watch this show. We say fuck too much. You're an adult. Google it. Apple Watch. Close the rings. Anyway, so there's 3 rings, and in the competition, each ring is something different. It's like how much you stand up, how much you exercise, and how much you fucking move around.
Yeah.
And each one of those percentage points of closing the ring is a point.
Right.
So the competition is like, how much are you closing your rings versus the other person? And it is kind of, I've been thinking about this since we've been doing it. The first 3 didn't really happen because there's somewhere both of us didn't really end up working out over the competition. There were ones where I did and you didn't. Either way, now that it's actually, we've kind of been competitive, I've noticed the points should not be even for the standing. It holds way too much weight. What matters is the calories.
Right.
And that's the hardest thing to do. And we have different calorie goals. And so, you burning 20 calories gets you more percentage points than it does for me.
Right.
And that's fine. That makes sense to me. You scale that based on what you're trying to accomplish. But the stand thing, which you can scale a little bit, it makes it to where the points in the competition, you only can stand up like 15 times a day on this thing. So there's only 15 notches to get, really.
Yeah.
Each one is worth a shitload of points.
Yeah, and for me, I have class during the week and I like get alerts, but I'm in class and I'd either have to just
awkwardly stand, while everyone else is sitting.
Or like turn my camera off for a minute, hoping it'll like register in a minute.
Right.
So like that kind of sucks.
Yeah. No, the stand thing, I think they should take the standing, still close your stand ring. Take the stand out of the competition. It should be a competition of exercise and
calories.
That's all that should matter.
Yeah, a story came to mind I was talking to someone who didn't know what rings, like closing your rings was.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm doing so well closing my rings. And the person was like, is that a euphemism for something? Like, I had no idea what I was talking about.
What could that mean?
I don't know, babe, but I was just like so thrown off and like
a Nuva ring?
That's when it hit me when I was like, oh, this person doesn't know what I'm
the fuck you're talking about. Yeah.
Which, you know, happens in my life.
Well, and a lot of people have iPhones, so a lot of people get Apple shit, but not everybody has the watch. Like, that's still a small market of people that are really doing that. And then you got to people who have the watch who know about a competition with the rings and shit. A lot of people don't even fuck with that part of it.
I didn't know what it was until recently.
Sure.
So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but, you know, since we got sick and like it took a while to get like my energy back up and
the recovery period from COVID is real shit. And I didn't realize that.
It's super real.
It took us, well, and we also got sick like kind of again. So basically we were down for like the month of May, almost completely. After the wedding. And then after the month of May, it was like the month of June. We were just dead. It was just, we felt tired.
Yeah.
And it was like really hard to get. And we were really hungry, like calorie hungry that month because we'd lost so much weight the previous month from getting sick so much. Yeah. So June was very sedentary. We were very chilling the fuck out.
But not in our like work lives.
No, we had plenty of work to do. We just weren't getting physical.
Yeah, but July is off to a great start.
Yeah. Last week of June, we've been doing really good.
Yeah, I told you this morning, like early morning candy's back.
Right.
I used to wake up at 6:30, latest 7. But ever since I got COVID, like I started waking up closer to like 8:30. Like it was a struggle to get out of bed.
Sometimes like right before your 9 o'clock stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
But now I'm like up at it with energy, like ready to get out of bed, which is awesome. Such a great feeling.
Yeah. And it really is. I've been trying to tell, you know, so many people in my life that is the key. And as someone who was fat and became not fat, and you were heavier than you are now a few years ago, I would say enough that it merits, like, if you look at a side-by-side comparison, you're like, that girl's life is different.
Yes.
You know, for sure.
Yes.
Because that's something that people I don't think realize is when you lose weight, a lot of weight, your life is different. Not as a result. It has to be different or you will not lose it. So your life has, when you see someone who's gone through that transformation, they didn't just like start going to Subway every week and then fucking, you know, a few years later, they're like, I'll live the same life except I go to Subway. It's like, no, dude, it's got to be different on a few different fronts, at least a little bit. You may not have to go hard on one or the other, but one of those things has gotten dramatically different. And it is a trickle down thing. You wonder how these people, you know, they're like these Hollywood celebrities stay good looking all of the time. Some of it is genetics and some of it is like starving themselves or taking steroids or crazy shit. But a lot of it is just once you get pretty healthy, it's a lot easier to stay pretty healthy.
Yeah. And it's also a mindset. Like in our program, we talk about self-care a lot.
Right.
Like to a point where we're like, we get it. We have to take care of ourselves.
Yeah, for sure.
And you know, like a lot of people in my class are like, I'm sick of talking about this.
Yeah.
Because in grad school, we don't have time for self-care. And I get that, you know, to a degree, but it really is a mindset switch. Like once I decided this week that I'm going to spend 30 minutes at least of some kind of exercise, whether it's yoga or core workout, like anything, just to get my body moving for 30 minutes makes such a drastic difference. Because it's like your mindset feels stronger, your energy's up. Even though, like, obviously, you know, I have an ice cream problem. Like when I'm stressed or like I just need ice cream. I want ice cream a lot. And so I can still have ice cream once or twice a week, maybe, but I'm doing the exercises daily. And so I don't feel as like sluggish or like, I'm a piece of shit for like eating ice cream and not doing anything.
I think that's also what a lot of people don't realize. Again, as people who have been way less healthy in our past than we are now, I've put on weight since the wedding. I like dropped a lot from the COVID and stuff. And then June, I know I've put on probably like 8 or 10 pounds probably definitely since I was at my lowest, post COVID. Like, but it was just because of a lack of activity combined with it. You really only have to do pretty good at both and you're good when you're younger.
Yeah.
Like, under the age of 50, you just have to do a little bit of both. If you do nothing on either one, if you eat shit all the time and you don't exercise at all, or you exercise, but you're like a little, but you're eating shit all the time, or if you're eating pretty good, but you never, ever fucking exercise, those 3 combinations, you'll fail.
Yeah.
But if you eat pretty good, but have your soda when you go to the movies, have your fucking ice cream a couple times a week, within reason, do some not some great stuff, but mostly you're pretty good. And you do a little exercise.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to the gym for fucking 2 hours a day or even 1 hour a day.
Yeah.
Go for a fucking 30, 45-minute walk every day. Start there. I don't know why we're like fitness gurus now, but I'm telling you.
No, it's seriously walking.
I have played this
so
game
so much for you.
I have played this fucking game my whole life.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who I talk to, it blows their mind when they were like, you were fat? No way. And that means different things to different people. I was never like 300 pounds, but my frame is not big. I'm like a skinny guy underneath everything. And when I was fat, you could tell that. I wasn't built like Tom Segura writes about it in his book quite a bit. He struggled with his weight across his life, but he's built big. You see pictures of his dad. He's built big. They're both like, he was a linebacker and shit and played football. I was a tight end. I was like the little guy who ran fast. Like that's the class of dude I was built as. And yet I spent a lot of my life overweight. Mm-hmm. And that was fully a result of habit and stuff like that. And I'm telling you, if you're trying to change that shit, if you're trying to improve, start with the walk.
Yeah.
Walk every day.
I agree.
Set a fucking reminder.
Yeah. And also like, it's tricky, right? Because when you're not feeling so great, like mentally or, just overall, and then you're like, oh, my comfort thing is dessert or junk food. But those things hand in hand result into you feeling worse.
And that's everything for the most part that people like when they're sad, right? It's food or it's alcohol.
Right. When I was depressed and anxious, like I remember just being like, I just want to eat chocolate and ice cream and like all these things. And like my doctor and, therapist, they're kind of like, if you exercise, then if you have a dessert, it's not so bad. Right. But you got to do the exercise. And I'm like, but I'm too sad to do the exercise.
Right.
I just want to eat my comfort food.
It's kind of like, if you think about like your living room floor, right? If you clean your living room floor every day, like if you vacuum every day and sweep every day, spot mop something, if it's whatever, if you check it and pay attention to it every day, which none of us do. None of us are worrying about the floor in the living room every day. But if you were, you could occasionally spill shit and not even worry about it. Mm-hmm. As long as it wasn't going to stain right away, drop some crumbs, whatever. I'll get it tomorrow when I clean shit because I clean shit every day.
Yeah.
But you can't do both. You can't drop shit on the ground and also not clean the floor because that's how you end up with the dirty floor.
Right.
And the bare minimum is just check it a little every day and you can do whatever you want. And it's kind of the same way with fitness and food. It's like when you're under 50, before you start, hopefully different people have different problems. I know young people who have health problems that keeps them from being able to do normal shit. But like, if you've got a pretty normal situation, all you really got to do is the bare minimum on both. Just don't be a total fat piece of shit in both categories.
Yeah. It took me years to really find a good balance for me. And also like everyone's different, know? Like you have to take that into account.
For sure.
Like my regimen might not be beneficial for other people.
But that's why I say start with a walk, because you can go so many places from that. You and I don't like to do the same workouts all the time. And then sometimes we do.
Yeah.
You like doing these dance
yoga.
workouts?
Oh, the dance. Yeah. That's been really fun.
Love doing the dance with the guy on
Shout
screen.
out to Ben.
What up, Ben? At the Apple Plus Fitness Studio Plus or whatever the fuck.
He's
in
great.
Santa Monica. We love Ben. I like walking. I'm a big fan of walking. I like to go on long walks outside. I have a large is not the right word. I have a big capacity for walking. Like I can walk miles and miles, like the way people can run really far. Like,
did you use endurance?
Maybe.
In that sentence.
But I'm not pushing myself that far. I mean, I guess it's endurance in the long run, yeah. But like, I think I could, if I had the right shoes and I trained for it a little bit, I think I could like walk like marathon lengths over time, like to another state or something. Like I could do that. I couldn't run it because I'm just not a big runner. I might have a light jog every now and then to loosen up the ankies.
I hate running.
I know. But a lot of that's, you have a specific situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get things bouncing around and...
Anyway.
If it helps you, babe, I have the same problem. I have to tape my shit down so that I can run. So we're both dealing with it.
Anyway.
Should we go through the wedding? Like the wedding day. We got our pictures back. They're beautiful. We can put them in the show.
They're so beautiful.
And we can kind of talk through the day.
Okay. I just want to say real quick.
Yeah?
Thank you cards are on the way.
Right. They are. We have them.
We have them. They'll be coming to you.
If you speak Korean, which I assume most people who watch this show do, Mom has them. And she's writing Korean shit on it for you to have.
Yes, and she's enjoying it. She loves shit like this. That's where I get it from.
Yeah. If I was marrying somebody else who was like me in this way, you'd not be getting thank you cards. I don't have time for that shit. Thank you.
I mean, I don't either, but here I am.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. But it's because it's important to you.
It is important
You're all about
to me.
cards and gifts and...
Yeah.
I don't know. Some might think. I don't care. I don't. And you know what? It's taken me a really long time to like come out of the closet on that and not feel like I have to change, because my whole life I felt guilty about, I used to move a lot when I was a kid and I would keep cards because I thought you were supposed to do that. People give you birthday cards. I would like keep them all, but then I would move, or I was just generally an irresponsible kid. I would lose my fucking stuff all the time and be like, where'd that box of cards go? I'm like, I don't fucking know. I think maybe it got thrown out. I don't know. I was terrible at keeping track of stuff and being sentimental with things. My dad would give me little gifts, pocket knife, whatever. And he'd be like, this is important. I want you to keep it forever and give it to your kid or whatever. And I would be like, okay. And I got that it was important to him, but I just couldn't make it be important to me in the same way. And then I would end up losing it, or I would take it out somewhere and set it down. And so I spent my whole life fucking being like, I don't want to tell people I don't think I care about things the way that you do.
I mean, I'm the opposite of you, but my brother is very similar in that way.
Yeah.
Like, I think people in our lives would just reciprocate like what they do for me, for him.
Right.
And he would just be like, thank you. And then like, I don't know what he would do with it. But
it being a gift doesn't hold any extra power for me. And I think one of the things is like, it's kind of like when you're when you're directing a play and you tell an actor what to do, it's not as effective as if the actor were to come up with it on their own, because then they own it. So a good director will lead the actor to the choice instead of being like, do this. When someone gives me a gift and they're like, this is important, keep it forever and care about it. I'm like, because you said so? Already I have it built into me, like, don't tell me what to do. Right. Second of all, you're telling me it's valuable. And I'm supposed to think it's valuable because it's from you. automatically, like there's all this I didn't get any choices. And now I've got to carry this thing around forever when I didn't even get to pick if I want it. I didn't ask for this. And so all of that's kind of going on in my head with gifts and shit. Babe, look at all this shit. There's fucking stuff everywhere. I'm incredibly sentimental. I've got a McDonald's toy from when I was a little kid. A lot of things on this wall were gifts or things that were handed to me. I do keep stuff. But let me decide what the important things are.
Sure, and that's totally fair because you're so right. Like, you should be the one to decide if this is special enough for keeping forever or not.
And I don't live at home with my parents, so I don't have a room with like a vault of all the shit that's important to me in one place. I've moved my whole life. I've been on the road since I was 19 as a person, living all over the country. Man, everything's got to fit in the car. So eventually I'm out of room for shit. Because I often am going to go, babe, at some point we're going to have to take this new couch somewhere. And I'm pissed about it. Because I'm like, I want to throw it out and get a new couch where we're going. I don't want to move this thing. But for this much money, now we got to take this fucking couch with us, man.
It's a great couch.
It is a really good couch.
I'm really glad we got it.
I'm sure they can't see it, but that's okay.
You'll put a photo.
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
I'm not going to do that. Absolutely not. I'm more of a refrigerator guy.
Refrigerator
College.
The wedding?
The wedding.
That was 6 years ago. We got married 6 years ago, and now we're going to talk about it.
Right.
I just feel like we owe them all a chat because we've been gone for a little bit, having COVID, and then feeling like dog shit for an entire month.
Yeah.
So it's been a minute. Oh, and to those of you who have followed my digital media career, you know, and you were thinking like, oh, they made episode 15. That's probably the last one. Rob usually doesn't make it past that when it comes to episodes of the shows that he makes. Fuck you, 16, bitch. What up? What are you gonna do? And maybe I'll quit tomorrow. Fuck you. Do whatever I want forever. I imagine there's this critical person out there that doesn't exist. I talk to them in my head like that all the time. There's no one who gives a fuck when any of my shows start or end. No one's ever watched almost any of them, minus like, you know, less than 100 people ever, which is fine. I make them because they're fun to make, not because I want to like go viral. If I wanted to do that, I'd spend all my time cutting it into reels and shit. But that's not fun. I like doing this part. So I have this person in my head that's really just me that is like, oh man, 15, huh? It's about time for you to quit doing it. If you made it that far. But we are going to keep doing it because I really like doing the show. This is my favorite show that I've done so far. And we have another show. We're going to talk about the wedding, maybe. We have another show that I'm working on right now, and I want to release it in kind of a specific way in like pieces. But we've been talking about it for a while. We think we have a name for it. And we shot our first little... I want to say first episode because it may not come out that way, but we shot our first shoot of it. Our first shot.
On the new couch.
On the new couch. We got a whole different set.
Yeah.
We flipped the whole apartment on a lazy Susan, spun it around, and got a whole new vibe going.
Yeah.
Which I like quite a bit. It's a little more intimate. It's a little chill. It's a little more chill.
Chill.
So
chill.
It's a little more chill, brah. But we're going to have that out soon. That show is called Working Out the Kink, and it is our show about our sex life and about our unconventional approach to our marriage. I'm going to put it like that.
Hell yeah, baby.
Hell yeah, baby. Speaking of our marriage,
boom, fuck your mom.
We got married at the end of April in Colorado. We've talked about it, but we got some really beautiful pictures from Bridget Dorr, our photographer.
Yes.
She did a great job and very efficiently. I want to say this. I know you wanted them sooner, but we did get them fairly in a timely fashion in the world of wedding photography. And she was efficient as shit. She had a tight time frame. We not only didn't want to spend the whole day taking fucking pictures, we also were giving off an energy of, okay, this is good, but like, what else? You know, I wouldn't have said, if you're an efficient photographer who wasn't looking to make the whole day about taking pictures, I would have called us the ideal couple because we were totally game. We went off and did a separate little shoot, a couple of areas with her. She kept wanting to try things. We kept being game for it. Towards the end, we were getting kind of like, I think we're good. But she didn't have that much time. We didn't give her hours and hours of setup to like make sure she got all the families and you know, she did everything handheld the entire day.
She had me write a list beforehand of like each family.
That's
photo.
I think standard. So that so that they can have a list of all right, let's get this. All right, let's get that. They don't just want to make that up as they go because they want to make sure that whoever you want captured is captured. And the picture of everybody standing in their outfits is the thing everybody wants who paid for the wedding. So you get those fucking things right. I think that's normal. But what I'm saying is she didn't have a tripod. She didn't have any lights. She did all of it handheld with a fucking single camera, no second shooter. I didn't really appreciate it as it was happening, honestly. I was in other places thinking about other things, trying to give her what she wanted. But I thought about it in retrospect, and I was like, and she didn't have everybody together for long. She would be like, all right, these people, boom, 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 and we're good. Next guy. Like I was like, you confident? Nobody blinked or nothing? Like, and for the most part,
she did a great
she
job.
knocked it out of the park, honestly. It was a good, and she gave us a good rate. We found out, which as much as it was a lot of money for any normal thing, but for wedding photography, it was a steal. She gave us.
Second you add that word wedding.
Game changer. Couple of zeros getting added on to your situation. But it was good. So I will actually cut these in because they're worth it and they're beautiful. We can kind of talk through how the wedding went for us. You got ready with your girls?
Yes.
I think I told them last time they gave my fucking liquor to you because they're sexist.
Right. Yeah.
Like, oh, the Tanqueray must be for the women.
We started getting ready at the hotel.
Yeah, you and I.
Yeah. And your party wasn't there. Most of my party was there though. Mm-hmm. And hair and makeup chick came to the room, did my mom's makeup, my makeup, and hair for a bridesmaid. It was beautiful. I was terrified because I didn't have a trial run. Like, that was my look.
Right, and she's white.
She's white. She was awesome. Did a great job. Super happy with the hair and makeup. But then we all took the shuttle to the venue.
We got into an argument at the hotel.
We did.
It was pretty small, but yeah. You don't remember?
A lot of stuff happened that day.
You were like getting ready before you went to see the chick in the bathroom. And there was a video on YouTube that I was watching purely because it was interesting to me. And
I like blocked that out of my memory because it was like, who cares?
Sure, but it was funny to me. So here's what the video was.
Funny.
And maybe I'll put the thumbnail up or something. This guy's a YouTuber, and he's a lawyer, and he has a YouTube channel where he takes movies, TV, or like really public court hearings and stuff like that. He talked about Johnny Depp and all that. But he's like a handsome lawyer in a suit with like a green screen background who like reacts to things and dissects stuff as a real lawyer. He's like, you saw this courtroom scene in the movie, but let me break it down. I love his channel. I've seen a bunch of his videos, and there's this one episode of Better Call Saul where Bob Odenkirk's character like tricks Michael McKean's character in this courtroom hearing by like planting a battery on him or something like that. And it's like an adjudication of his bar license or whatever. And I can't even really explain to you why that kind of shit is interesting to me. Like, to hear, I've always been obsessed with like the law and the rules and and I don't follow them all, but I'm just obsessed with procedure and like the way lawyers and cops will get you on technicalities and shit. And I feel like as a guy who regularly does maybe some things sometimes that, it's questionable, I want to know what the rules are exactly. I'm really, and I get kind of into it. So I click on this video and I can't remember what I was doing. I think I was like cleaning something or my shoes or so. I was also getting ready for the day, but I was out there and I had my phone out and it was playing this video and it was cutting between like scenes of the courtroom drama and then this guy breaking down. He's like, now in this moment, actually the law says that, so that's legit. Like that's what the video was. Pretty innocuous. It wasn't like a murder trial. This was like a civil
babe, to
thing.
be fair.
And then what? No, wait. Before you explain why you did what you did, tell them what happened. So I'm watching the video in one part of the hotel room. You're in the bathroom getting ready, but you can hear it.
Yeah, like I had just gone out of the shower. I was like starting to like blow dry my hair, just getting my stuff ready to go into my mom's room because that's where we're going to get ready.
Right.
And I'm just in the bathroom and I hear this like trial type of dialogue. I'm like, why is he watching this? Like, for me, it sounded very serious. Didn't know the context of like what you were watching other than the stuff I was hearing the lawyer talk about. I'm like, why is he? I was just so confused. I was like, why is he listening to this on our wedding day?
Well, and you hadn't sent me the approved list of stuff I was allowed to watch on our wedding day, so I didn't know that it was not on the list.
Yeah, but to be fair, I've never heard you listen to this kind of stuff before. I'm definitely used to hearing like podcasts of comics and comedy and like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But when it came to the trial lawyer misdemeanor, like that kind of stuff,
There's another word. Yeah.
it just threw me off. And I remember looking at you and being like, why are you listening to this?
Right.
And then you were like super thrown off. Like,
I didn't get the question.
Yeah.
Because I was like, to me, it's self-explanatory of like, well, and I did clarify, even though I was confused by the question, but I was like, I don't understand. Like, I'm watching a video on my phone. Why does anyone watch anything on their phone? It's interesting to them. Mm-hmm. Like, and then I was thrown off by the question. I was like, I don't know what you mean. Like, what do you mean? Why am I watching it? And you were like, why are you watching that video right now? And I was like, and here's the other thing that threw me off was I didn't know why you gave a shit. Because I don't ever ask you, hey, why are you watching that? I assume it's because it's interesting to you or because you like it or because what I might ask is, what are you watching? Mm-hmm. But you didn't ask me, what are you watching? You started the conversation with, why are you watching that? And I was like, for the same reason anyone ever watches anything.
Yeah,
I find it entertaining.
For me, it felt like the context you were watching was like kind of a downer.
Sure. But you didn't share any of that with me because we didn't go to like, you could have started the conversation
I said it later though.
You did, but that's why I was thrown off because maybe again, we started in the middle of the conversation. But what you started the conversation with, instead of being like, hey babe, like, I'm not really sure like why you're watching that or what it is, but the vibe's kind of bringing me down and it's the wedding day. Can we put on some music or just like another clip and you could watch that later? You didn't say that. You were just like, why are you? Well, like I owed you an explanation, like almost like you caught me watching weird porn and you were like, it was
because I was that thrown off. Like,
why grandmas? Why are you watching that?
It was so not the content I normally hear you listening to. So I definitely should have said, hey babe, this is, I don't know, bringing the vibe down or whatever. Right. But yeah.
Yeah. It started like in the middle of the convo, just with, I need to know why this is happening. And that's what threw me off the most was like, it seemed like more than anything, it seemed like it was clear you wanted me to stop watching it, but it didn't even seem like that was your number one priority. You more importantly needed to know why I was watching this stuff. And I was like digging in my brain, speechless, trying to be like, I find it interesting to know the law. Is that true? Like I'm like asking myself, I didn't fully know why I was watching it or why I've watched many of this guy's videos. I don't know. I watch a lot. It is definitely in the category of shit that I wouldn't put on like the TV at the house while you were in the room. But because you were in the shower when I started the video, I just didn't think about you being an audience to the content. I wasn't like, oh, she's not going to like this. And again, it wasn't graphic or violent or dark. It really was just boring.
Yeah.
It wasn't more than anything else I could say. It for sure was boring if you don't know the context of it.
Yeah, that definitely, yeah.
But babe, I love you so much because of moments like that, for real. Like not in that moment. I was like, but like now, in retrospect, I love that because I'm like, you challenge my brain in a way that nobody else really does. When you talk to me sometimes, because I have so much love and compassion for you, I never jump to like mock her or make fun of you for not knowing a word or, I don't do that. My brain goes to trying to understand. And sometimes, babe, you say things to me or you start conversations or like, and I'm just like, it's like a puzzle. It's like I didn't ask for a puzzle, but someone just handed me a puzzle and was like, it's actually ticking. And you're like, oh, okay, it's got 3 sides. They're different colors. Like I'm trying to figure out the rules of the puzzle as I'm trying to solve it. That's like what it is talking to you sometimes.
That's amazing.
It's great because I thought I was good at talking. And then I talk to you and I'm like, I don't know what's happening.
That's so funny because I feel like I'm such a straightforward person.
You are in a way, but I think that's also sometimes what catches me off guard is I'm like,
yeah,
you're very straightforward. You're so straightforward that you skipped a few steps and we're like we're ahead. We're so forward because you didn't stop to be like, oh, by the way, we're moving on to this subject.
Right. And no one has ever said that to me before.
What do you mean?
Until I met you.
No one's ever complained that you start things in the middle. Maybe you don't do it with them.
Maybe. I don't know. I think about like my family dynamic and how I would always just preface, this is really random, but blah, blah, blah. But with you, for whatever reason, I just
You don't do that.
But I think it's because I feel like we're so in sync and we spend so much time together. It's just like my way of assuming that you're going to totally get where I'm coming from, which is ridiculous because you can't read my mind.
I usually get, if I just took longer, I would just figure it out. Because a lot of times I do.
Yeah. I think it is a comfortability thing.
I'm getting better at it. Like I'm getting better at knowing.
But babe, I'm saying it's coming from an endearing place because that's how like connected I feel to you.
Oh, that's very nice.
It's true.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, volume 2. And you're like, oh yeah, Stranger Things.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a good example.
That literally happened yesterday.
Yeah, we weren't talking about that show at all.
No, not at all.
Or shows. I think we're talking about Top Gun. Like Kyle and I were kind of talking about Top Gun a little bit, or was that? No, that was a few days ago.
No, I think we
don't leave this apartment enough. I can't tell one day.
I think we were talking about like my internship, like something
not
super
even movies,
not related.
Yeah, not even
because
in the realm.
You got it, and then Kyle was like, "What?"
Yeah. Well, he made the mistake of trying to tie the current topic to what you're brought up, and that's not how your brain works.
Right, and that's when you were giving him like a candy lesson of, oh no, you can't tie those together.
No, that's not how you find it out. It's like more of a keyword search. Once you say the thing, then you have to be like, what could that mean?
Right.
Let me run through the document and see when that came up last. And then I'm like, part 2. What is there a part 2 of? Oh, Stranger Things part 2 comes out on Friday. That's got to be what she means. Like, But I have
Volume 2.
whatever. But I have to do that work myself because you refuse to do it for me. Like typically
but
when
you
you're
get
having a
there.
conversation, yeah, but like I see no resistance in your voice. You know, I don't hear any resistance in your voice when I bring up that I'm doing that. That's fine.
I'll be better about it.
No, you won't, but I'll be better about it. So then it'll be fine.
Will.
Okay. It's kind of fun. I don't want you to be better at it.
Okay.
I'm getting good at it now. So
now it's a challenge.
Now it's a game I don't want to
Challenge
quit.
accepted.
It's a game I can't quit. Just like you, babe. That's right. That's right.
Boom, fuck your mom.
You know it. So
yeah, so the wedding day.
yeah.
We arrived. We went to our separate areas.
Yeah, we split up.
Because we didn't have a first look before. The first look was you watching me go down the aisle.
Right, that's what I always wanted.
Yeah.
So we did that.
Because a lot of people don't do that. They have a moment before with the photo shoot, reveal, whatever.
Which is crazy, you know, because it's like that actually might be the most not us thing I insisted on. We're all about the privacy and having our own moment and leave us alone. That's why we eloped. That's why I proposed that way. Yeah. I don't like an audience to everything. And I don't want to share my most intimate moments with a bunch of people live, usually. But yeah, maybe it was a movie thing or a TV thing or whatever. Like, I just was set on like, no, the first time I see you. Well, and I'd watched a billion movies where they used the veil. Like the veil's over the face as you walk. And then the man lifts the veil over the head. We didn't do that, which is totally fine. But that was like, that wasn't like in my thing. But that's part of the like, that's when you see her. You see her then. That's when you're like, oh man. And you're like, I wanted to be standing at the altar with the feeling of like, look at her. Like, wow. And I feel like if I had seen you right before and then we did the whole processional or whatever, I was like, that would have taken all the wind out of that for me. It would have been like, you still look beautiful, of course. But it's like that whole like, that only lasts for a couple minutes.
Yeah. And we also like, got on the same shuttle, even though I wasn't like dressed.
Yeah, we spent the night together. We spent the morning together. We spent the early afternoon together. We rode over to the venue together. Then we separated. We got dressed separately.
Yeah.
So the reveal was very much. I did try not to look at you once you were made up.
Yeah, that was funny. We were sitting in the same row. You were just
we're in the shuttle. We're getting over and all that, and I'm just kind of head down, trying just not to look at her face because I want all of it to be a surprise.
Right.
Which I didn't know necessarily that would be that big of a deal for me, but I really wanted that.
Yeah, and then of course we had a little Genie.
Yep.
As part of our walking down the aisle.
Yeah.
And I didn't know until we got the photos back that my brother ended up carrying her
down the aisle.
And I saw that photo and I was like, why is he carrying her? The whole plan is for her to walk down the aisle.
Yeah.
And I asked him like a couple weeks ago for the first time, I was like, why? I saw the photo. Why are you carrying her? And he's like, she refused to walk down the aisle because we weren't there yet.
Yeah.
And so she probably smelled us or whatever. And like,
she knew we were the other direction.
Yeah. And she was literally trying to go the opposite way.
Right.
So my brother had to pick her up. But I walked in the aisle with my mom and dad.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was super cute. That was an idea my mom had. And I wasn't sure if my dad would be, because he's very traditional. And so when she brought that to me, I was like, that sounds really cute. Like, I really love that. And she obviously saw it and was like, that's super cool. And I talked to my dad about it and he was like, oh yeah, that's fine. And then later on, my mom joked that like she gave permission to let him walk down the aisle. Remember at dinner?
Yeah.
Which I thought was really funny.
Yeah, that's of course their dynamic. You know what I also noticed, and I don't know if it's because there were both of them, but in all the pictures, traditionally, the father of the bride walks down the aisle, and the bride has like flowers, but she usually has her arm holding onto her dad, right? So she's holding flowers, and then she's holding onto her dad with the other hand, and the dad's kind of doing the alpha walk. I probably shouldn't have said that prefacing with what I'm about to say about your dad. But your dad in the photos is very much clinged on to you. It's like the other way around. He's holding on to your arm, like almost like you might fall.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious because you have flat shoes on. We wore our Converse that were custom. So it's like you're going to trip in your heels.
Right.
But he absolutely looks just like he's holding on to you for dear life.
They were both gripping onto me.
I bet. You're definitely, I mean, you lived at home until you were what? 26, 27, 28, 29. So I get it. And then I got too excited, which is usually not a problem that I have. But I got too excited. And the procedure was supposed to be they walk you down the aisle, they land, you three have a moment with hugs and kisses and slap on the ass or whatever. and then I come up and I shake your father's hand and hug your mom. And then we go up to the altar together.
Yeah.
I did not wait for this moment to come because as soon as they landed, I was like, I got to hug your dad and give her to me. And I almost forgot to hug your mom because I was literally like, first of all, traditionally, you're not here. And so I didn't realize you were also going to be here. I was not planning for this group thing that we're about to do. I was at handshake the dad, give me this chick, and then we do the thing. And so, I got a little overzealous. I hugged too early, and then I had to wait while you guys hugged. And then you came up there, which was fine.
Yeah.
I really didn't care. Fucking sound cues didn't play right. And so I was over anxious about that because I joked about it right before I walked down the aisle to my boys and a girl. I was like, yeah, director loves a fucked up sound cue. That's the one thing to fuck up today. Like I immediately thought about my college mentors who were like, I had several, but one in particular is this guy, John Langs. And John Langs he was famous for being like kind of a tyrant director who would make really good plays. And so everyone was like, he's kind of an asshole, but his fucking work is really good. And he treated that school's plays like we were on Broadway and paying customers were there gonna throw the business in the trash if we don't get the show right, because he would be like texting the lighting or the stage manager, be like, why are we not starting the show? Send. Start the fucking show right now. Send. Hello. Send. Like he would be like having a meltdown because we were like, the lights came down, but then they didn't come up in time. And so he was like, what the fuck? Like I was trained by this guy and many others where it's like, we get overly passionate about the precision of the work. We're like, we have a vision in our head for like, no, it's doom, ba, da, ba-do, bump. And it's like, if you fuck that up, we're like, I told you, we all sat at a table and we talked about how important it is to me, to everybody else, to the audience for it to go boom, ba, ba, da, da, da. And then you came out here and you're like, what the fuck? Like we didn't talk about, like we lose our minds. And so much of the wedding I wasn't particular about. Do we have an altar? Do we have flowers? Do we have white seats? Do we have black seats? Do we have plates? For some reason, the aesthetics of all that didn't really hit me, even though I'm me. And I was like, whatever you want. In all those areas, you want to do flowers? You want these people to hold flowers? You want to do decorations over here? My mom would ask me stuff. And I was like, you ladies, do your thing. And I'm the groom. Usually, we don't even get asked. But I wanted the fucking music to work right. And I made a fucking video for everyone to watch. We talked about that in the last one. And all the stuff that was important to me got fucked up. And I was standing at the altar facing away from the processional. Everyone's coming down the aisle. My buddy Dave Brown lands first in the party. He's at the end. And they're filling in towards me. and I'm facing upstage, and I can't remember if I said anything or if I was mumbling under my breath, but he could tell I was distressed about the fact that I gave them a music cue to play for the processional, and they kept playing the first like 15 seconds of it, and then it would get silent, and then it would start over. And it just kept playing the first like 15, 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And the cool part of the song is in the like second 30 seconds. It had like the Avengers theme built into it, which did play like once. And someone caught it and was like, that's cool. And I was like, you don't know how cool it was supposed to be. And
yeah,
I'm standing there and I'm like in this fucking great suit. Everything's perfect. The weather had calmed down. And I'm like, this fucking music. And then it would start over again. And I was like, and then it would start over again and again. And I think it started over like 6 times. And I, because I'm such a technical person, I know what's happening.
Yeah.
I sent it to her via text. She needed to download it to her phone and play it out of files instead of playing it out of the text message. Because if you play it out of the text message while you have low power mode on, which you most certainly did, the screen will go to sleep because it doesn't treat it like a music track. It treats it like a file. You're no longer looking at it. It closes the phone. I used to have this problem on all the time because we would play the music for the talent while they're dancing, and they would get tracks sent to them from the music producer in their text or in their email. If you don't turn off low power mode, it won't play longer than 30 seconds or whatever. And so I'm knowing all of this, and in my head I'm literally thinking, I'm the groom, I could stop it, we could go back, we could do it right. I thought about being like, no, go back, start over. Natalie, turn your phone off. Look, I can fix it. I have the tools to fix it, but I'm frozen here and I can't. It was the most anxiety I had all day. On my wedding day, I wasn't nervous about marrying you because we were already married. I wasn't nervous about telling everybody we were already married. Didn't give a shit about that. I wasn't nervous about anything. But in that moment when the music was playing wrong, I was like, this is my worst nightmare. I'm at a live show that I designed. It's not going the way I designed it. And I'm not at the console. I can't hit the button. I can't go up and sneak behind the curtain at the Romo room and fix the mic that no one else knows how to fix and make it better in the room real quick. And that's who I am. It's like built into my fucking soul to be that guy who runs up and fixes it. And I feel like I have handcuffs on. I'm like, I can't do it. And my buddy Dave lands at the end and he sees me all fucked up. And Dave goes, hey, it's not what this is about. It's not what this is about. And I was like, that's why you have a fucking wedding party. That's why you have people there.
Yeah. To
support you. Because it is a big thing and you feel a lot of things and you never know what the fuck is going to happen or what you're going to feel or, what might fall apart. And you want to put people in your wedding party that aren't just the fucking person you knew in 2nd grade. They're people you can trust to support you in an important moment in your life.
Right.
And Dave was a replacement. The person he replaced, I'm pretty confident wouldn't have said that to me in that moment. It was very serendipitous that Dave was the one who ended up standing there in that moment on that day, and that he was in that position. Because if Dave and I's relationship were in a slightly different place, and maybe he would have been higher up on the thing had I lived in New York and we'd stayed really, really close, but we'd kind of grown distant. So he was at the end of the party. He wasn't one of the more recent close friends. But that meant he arrived first. Right. So he was in place at the right moment, the right guy to give me what I needed. And I relaxed. I really did. It worked. He told me that and I was like, it's not about that. This is not about a fucking music cue that I spent the whole morning getting perfect in GarageBand or whatever. It wasn't about that. It was about us doing what we were there to do. And I don't think very many other people would have convinced me of it. Like, there's not a lot of other people in the world who would have been like, hey, man, focus
that's a
up on
special
it.
moment for sure.
So that was big for me. Great ceremony from Wiley.
It was so good.
Really beautiful.
The best.
Really, really good.
When I started my vows, I was like, get it together. Get it together.
Few tears, sun in your eyes.
Sunshine in my eyes. Wow.
How did you feel
Yeah.
about the fact that I didn't write my vows? Okay, let me clear that up. I didn't read someone else's, but I didn't write them ahead of time.
Right.
I just spoke in the moment. How did you feel about that?
Totally fine.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I personally did it because I needed that. Like, I needed that, like, safety blanket because I didn't want to just start ranting and not make sense. That was super important to me. I wanted to think about it ahead of time, have it written in a little notebook, and just read off of it.
And they were beautiful.
Thank you.
Very, very cute and very beautiful. And oh my God, that was tough.
And, you know, like I mentioned in the vows, like when I met you, it was like a very down time in my life. Like I just was really sad, and just seeing like what I wrote and like having to say it in front of an audience and you, like just a wave of emotions of like, wow, like where I am today and how you helped me through so much, and maybe not even knowing it in the beginning, how much it really helped me. And yeah, I thought it was short and sweet. I didn't want to like, you know, have a super long vow either. Because we also exchanged vows in November. So,
Right.
which was private for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wasn't upset or anything. I thought it was great. And I think you're more than capable of doing it. So I had all the confidence that you're going to say what you want to say.
I feel like, and what I said, I told the audience of people there, I didn't write anything because you went first. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I didn't write anything down because I don't do that for the most part. If I do write something down, it's a big deal. Like my writing, you know, if I write a script or a play, I mean, so many of my ideas and stories and everything is all just verbal. I thought about writing it. I did. I thought about like putting stuff down. But I felt like there would be so many things in that moment that I would either want to say or think or whatever, that I would have to put all that aside to read a thing I felt earlier.
That makes sense.
I wanted to say what I felt then, as I stood there, as I did the thing, and as I actually committed to you in front of everybody. I wanted to tell the truth. And I knew that the most truthful version of it would be off the cuff. That would be how I was feeling then. And
Again, that's impressive.
I guess. I don't know if it's, I guess it's, to me, it's, I'm not impressed by it, I guess, because it's just who I am. I've always been like this. I don't always like what I say. I go back and I hear what I say or whatever. And a lot of times I'm like, I don't agree with that. This episode of We Are New is brought to you by Legitimints, the best mints that are legitimate. Legitimints, too legitimate to quit a mint. We got really great photos taken after the ceremony with Bridget that are super fun. We changed pretty fast after our dances and stuff, which we talked about last time. If you want to know about the dances and the video thing, we kind of mentioned that. In the last one, go watch 15. The reception was awesome. It was really, really good. After we kind of went and had our pictures taken, we went back and had dinner. Great best man speeches and man of honor speech. Yeah, holy shit. Those were really, really well received. And then after a great dinner, we moved on to karaoke, which was the main event of the evening. And was fucking awesome.
It was so fun. It was so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It was a blast. I was very on the fence. I think I always knew I would end up singing a song or two, but you know, we had a bud bar that was super fun. I was more invested in like just getting blazed and
like hanging out.
Yeah, and just like talking to people because it was like kind of a separate outside area.
Yeah.
But I really wanted to sing a song dedicated to you.
Yeah.
Like that was important to me. I didn't know if I would get to that moment, but I did it. I should have done it earlier because my voice was definitely not up to par.
Babe, we both kind of like got B minuses, I think, on our karaoke. I think
your rap.
Yeah, you did a great job, and I don't want to cheapen that, but you're right. You weren't like top of the voice game. I was already getting drunk.
Yeah, and at that point, like, I don't know, maybe I got COVID. I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, because I'm pretty sure Lamar gave it to us the next day. I'm pretty sure we know that for sure. For sure.
Yeah, but my voice was like, my throat was not feeling great.
Yeah, but it's because you were like talking really loud all day and smoking joints. Like not even like lightly.
Yeah.
And you're not a big smoker.
Yeah.
You take secondhand hits from me and you take like a third of what I take. So like you're not even a big like, let me smoke a whole joint. But like you were smoking joints. Like we smoked a whole joint together we smoked 2 whole joints because we smoked a whole joint
taking photos
before that with Wiley.
Yes.
And then we smoked a whole joint taking photos, and then we kept smoking joints all night. Like it was a lot. I think that's what it was.
Edible.
Right. Yeah.
It was a lot. That's why the next day I was like, I kind of feel like shit, but it definitely makes sense.
Right.
But then there was the added layer later. I found out I was positive.
Yeah. It was
such a fun night.
It was a great party, some great singing, had some great dancing. I definitely think if you've got at least a few good people and then a few mediocre people, do the karaoke at the wedding, man. What's more fun than that?
Yeah,
like,
it was definitely...
Unless everyone's dog shit. Like, if you know most people are going to be bad and there's just, like, not any talent. But if you've got a couple of heavy hitters and then you've got, like, 5 or 6 people who can carry a tune.
Yeah.
And then you got a bunch of other people who love singing their favorite song. Karaoke is a great event at a wedding.
It's so fun. And we got such high...
praise.
High praise for it.
Yeah.
And people are like, I've never been to a wedding where they have karaoke.
Yeah, and we had people who didn't even know each other who met that night doing duets together and shit.
Yeah, it was super cool.
Fucking awesome.
So fun. And my cousin.
Yeah, the one child at the wedding. She was dancing.
She was dancing.
Singing in canto.
Yes, like a very dramatic song from that movie, which I haven't seen yet. I really need to, but... Man, I was like, she is in this. She's passionate. She's emotional.
Right? If there had been a bunch of kids at the wedding and they had all done shit like that, it would have been super annoying. But there was one and she did it once and everybody was like so supportive. She also sang karaoke like in a way I've never seen in my whole life. I have never seen someone sing karaoke where they hold the microphone, right, in front of their face like this. But she stood, we had 2 screens, right? Like you often do with karaoke. We had the big one behind her and then the one in front on a little TV.
Yeah.
And most people stood kind of between the 2 screens, little and big. And because the audience stood more like this, they were kind of performing out and they might check the lyrics, or maybe if they really needed to see the lyrics, they'd focus more this way at the smaller TV with the bigger one behind him. Olivia took the mic off the stand and went over to the little TV and like a foot away from the TV, sang the song into the mic Like she was screaming it, not in volume, but in intention at the TV. Like as if each word she was trying to punch with her voice. Like, you know, I don't know the fucking song, so I can't sing it, but it was like, you know, I've got sunshine on a cloudy day. Like, and she wasn't doing that with her voice, but it was like her physicality. She was like lurching at it. And it wasn't like an angry song or an aggressive song. It had some chutzpah to it, but it wasn't like, fuck you, mom, burn down the village. Like it wasn't angry.
Hopefully not.
I mean, that would have been fucking bomb as shit if she sang that song. I need to finish writing it. But that's like amazing. I can't wait for her to do that one. Fuck you, mom, burn down the village. Track 1. We're gonna get that. We're gonna get that going for you, Liv. But no, I've never seen anyone do that. And just like, and her focus was like, and I think it was a little bit of a defense mechanism to make sure that she didn't look at anyone else who was looking at her, because as much as she is that girl who's like the free spirit kid who
she's
just
in
like
middle school.
She's in middle school and she does the like, you know, she kind of dances like no one's looking. It doesn't mean she has also the courage to look at people in the eye while she's doing these kind of wacky things. She's not quite there. Yeah. She's not the like, what's that word? There's a word for like kids who act like they're grown-ups. Like, is it precocious? So like they have that energy where they're like, hey, and they're like looking at you in the face and talking to you like they're a grown-up. She's not like that. She's still like kind of socially awkward like any middle schooler and kind of looks at the ground when she's talking to you and stuff. So it was like this weird, like, I'm going to sing a song, a Disney song, in front of all these adults, most of whom I've never met, at full volume into this mic, but I'm going to need to not look them in the fucking eyes at all while I do it. And in order to do that, I'm going to focus on the words. I'm going to read each word. She knows the fucking words.
She knows all the words.
She's a middle schooler singing a Disney song. She knows the fucking words, but she's looking at each word. Like if she takes her eyes off of it, she'll fail the test. It was amazing.
Yeah,
I've never seen that.
I also like, I didn't know it was her in the beginning. Like I was somewhere else. Yeah, I was somewhere else. And I think like halfway through the song, like someone was like, you got to go see that. And I was like, okay. And then I just saw her and I was like, wow, this is amazing.
Right.
Like, and she did it like right before like my family left. So that was kind of like the grand finale for her.
Right.
I love her.
Yeah, it was super cool. She's the same person we've talked about when we talked about Turning Red.
Yes.
We talked about, if people remember us talking about that movie.
I still need to ask my aunt and her if they've seen that.
Yeah. We can't, unfortunately, we can't show any pictures of Olivia because she's underage and we can't publish her image without, you know, talking to people about it. But she's super cute. You just take that, you know. I don't have any photos of her screaming the karaoke. I might have one actually, but we can't show that. But I acted it out pretty good. Just imagine I'm like, you know.
It was pretty good, babe.
Thank you. Yeah, so we're back. We're doing it. Working Out the Kink is coming out soon. We didn't have Uncle Kyle with us today, only because
he's working.
He's working. We've been trying to get another episode out for a long time. And as we've explained before on the program, up until very soon, actually, his contract is up soon. He'll be moving on to something else. But for a year now, almost, Kyle has been working this from home remote post-production gig, help making a TV show, but from his room. And they work him full post-production hours. I mean, he's got a 10-hour day, 5 days a week. So we go to bed not long after the sun goes down. And frankly, the amount of time in between when we go to sleep and when Kyle gets off work is like no time at all. And we're certainly not going to be shooting a podcast for the last hour of the day we're awake.
Right.
We're done.
Right.
We'd be better off shooting one at 8 a.m. So it's tough because obviously we love Uncle Kyle and we want to do the show with him. He will always be a part of the show. But we may occasionally make an episode or two that he can't make depending on the situation. And we kind of wanted to see if we could make them without him only knowing, like, is it possible? Do we even want to try? But we had, like I
Right.
said, such a hard June of energy. You know, we'd get to the end of the week after working all week while feeling kind of still tired and full of,
Yeah.
just like shit, honestly.
Yeah, like
We get to the weekend and we don't want to do it.
My advice is stay safe best you can. I mean, it's still out there. People are still catching this thing, and
Sure.
just take care of yourself.
Yeah, and focus on your health. Like we
Yeah.
were talking about earlier, whether that I can't remember if we talked about it for real or not.
I think we did.
I think we talked about the Apple Watch competition, right?
Yeah.
Which you're winning last time I checked. So
Woo!
good for you. We'll see. We'll check in next week and see if
All right, babe.
whether or not you won.
Love you.
Love you
See
so
you in the
much.
next one, babe. Hello? Married.
Refrigerator College.
We're married.
Are we married to each other? We are new. We are married.
We are new. We are married. We are great. We are bold.
We are beautiful.
Beginnings.
We are beginnings. Just get. Can you? Can you? Thank you for watching this clip from We're New. Click
We're new.
here for other clips.